Right, so let's have a look at a little bit of magic. So I've got my magic wand here, but this time slightly different. So some previous tricks we've actually made reference to John Napier. So John Napier invented logarithms, and hopefully we've seen that a good deal of cryptography involves discrete logarithms. So we're very lucky in that we're actually in John Napier's home, and we should be able to see, hopefully, from here. So we can actually see John Napier's castle. This is his room, and there's the ceiling up there. And hopefully behind me you can actually see John Napier himself. Okay, so we're in John Napier's room, so let's actually have a look at how we can crack some of John Napier's work using logarithms, using our discrete logarithms. Okay, so for this what we'll do is we'll create a magic tunnel, and the magic tunnel is going to take our values that Bob and Alice would exchange, and then we're going to do some magic with them. Okay, so here we are. This is since we're here in John Napier's castle. Okay, and John Napier is just behind me there. Let's have a look at what he presented. Okay, so the Diffie-Hellman method is a standard method that's been around for quite a while, and is really the basis of a good deal of cryptography. So for this we agree two values, a g and a p. The p is the prime number here, and then Alice and Bob generate a random value. Okay, Alice generates a and Bob generates b. So Alice calculates g to the power of a mod p. Okay, it's very difficult to determine what the value of a was actually from that result because of our prime number. And then Bob on the other side takes the b value and then sends back, so that should be a there. So sends back the value that he receives back to Alice. So Alice then raises it to the power of a. Because of the power of logs, that's g to the power of b to the power of a. So we get g ab. Sorry, that should be g to the power of b. And so we've got g to the power of ab. And then over here, because of John Napier, we take a to the power of b. Okay, and then we get g to the power of a to the power of b, which is g to the power of ab. Okay, so in this way Alice and Bob end up with the same shared key, and Eve in between can't determine what that shared key is just by listening to the values of a and b. Okay, so Alice sends g to the power of a mod p, and Bob sends g to the power of b mod p, and all works out. Okay, so here's the trick. So what Eve does, there's Eve the magician, so there's Eve's magic wand here. So Eve invites Bob and Alice up and asks them to think of a random number, and then she says, well, let's think of a g value of 15 and 1011 for our prime number. Okay, so she doesn't know, but Alice selects 5 and Bob selects 9. And so now they're going to do their calculations. So Alice will take 15 to the power of 5 mod 10111, and Bob will take 15 to the power of 9 mod 1011, and so on. And then they write down their values. Okay, and now what they're going to do is they're going to exchange the values between each other, just like they would in normal practice. So Eve's got a special tunnel that she's going to send them through. So she feeds in the messages at either end, and she taps the tunnel has a look inside and then passes the values. Okay, so with the magic trick, then we have Bob. Alice gives Eve her value, so this is Alice here, and there's Eve, and we have Bob. So with this trick, what happens is that Alice sends her value, Bob sends his value, Eve then sends them through a magic tunnel, and then there is a key generated. Then what happens next is that Alice takes a number, a message, say 19, multiplies it by the key that Bob and Alice have generated, and then Eve is then able to crack it. So how did she actually do it? Well, the way that she did it was that she was Eve in the middle, or the man in the middle. So there's Alice, and there's Bob, and there's Eve. So basically what happened was that Alice sent her value to Eve. Eve, no matter what, took a random number of 7. Remember, Alice took 5 and Bob took 9. So no matter what is sent here, Eve will send back g to the power of 7 mod p. And over here, then Eve will send back g to the power of 7 mod p. So she's negotiating a key between herself and Bob, and a key between herself and Alice. So in that way that she can actually take the message, she's got the key here, so she can decrypt the message and then send it on to Bob. So as far as Bob is concerned, everything is fine, but really there is no end-to-end key being generated between the two. Okay, so this is the calculations if you're actually interested in it from there. But basically here's what happens. So there is Alice's value of A, so she sends that. Eve decides on taking an E value of, or her E value of 7, and sends that back. So there is one key negotiated here, and another one over here. So let's look at how this is calculated. Okay, so here's a little calculator. So there's the values here. So we can see here when we do the calculations, there's a value of 5, then g to the power of a if we use 15, and this value here we get 114. Bob will generate this value because he uses 9. Okay, so now Eve takes Alice's value and then does a calculation, 402. So this is the key that Bob and Alice and Eve have, and on the other side it's the same. Okay, so that's the magic trick, and since we're in John Napier's house, then or his castle, I thought I'd outline one that related to him. Okay, thanks.